Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. We talk sports every single day, or at least we try to. I'm Roach Jeffrey, and subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another video. Now, Eric Bieniemy, the Kansas City Chiefs offensive coordinator, has been announced to be going to the Washington Commanders to be their new offensive coordinator. I'm going to go over whether I think this was a good decision by the Washington Commanders to get Eric Bieniemy, and I'm going to go over whether I think Eric Bieniemy made the right decision to leave the Kansas City Chiefs for the Washington Commanders offensive coordinator job. Now, Eric Bieniemy is one of the top offensive coordinators in the NFL, and a lot of people have been clamoring for him to be a head coach for an NFL team, and it makes a lot of sense because he's had a lot of success with the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, you got to realize as well that Andy Reid is one of the top head coaches in the NFL, and the Chiefs have a fantastic offense with fantastic players, but Eric Bieniemy's still done an elite job with those players and having them play at a high level, because it's different when you have great players and then you don't perform well. Then that shows that you're not a good offensive coordinator. But Eric Bieniemy's being the offensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs since 2018 through 2022, and even though you have Patrick Mahomes and all the weapons that the Chiefs have had on offense, he still calls great plays, and the Chiefs have had a really successful run for the last 4 years. And if you look at the Chiefs' record from 2018 to 2022, the time that Eric Bieniemy was the offensive coordinator of the Chiefs have gone 12-4, and they lost in the AFC Championship game. In 2019, they went 12-4, and they were Super Bowl champions. 2020, they went 14-2, and they lost in the Super Bowl. In 2021, they went 12-5, and they lost in the AFC Championship game. And then in 2022, they were 14-3, and they were Super Bowl champions again. So while Eric Bieniemy was the offensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs, the Chiefs have won 2 Super Bowls. And yes, even though, again, Andy Reid is the head coach, Eric Bieniemy plays a really key role in the Chiefs getting the Super Bowl. And even though the Chiefs have great players, he's still done a fantastic job with those players overall. And that's why he's regarded as one of the top offensive coordinators in the country. But a lot of people thought that he would stick out with the Kansas City Chiefs and maybe eventually get their head coaching job after Andy Reid is retired. Or a lot of people thought that he could get a head coaching job at another NFL team. But instead, he's finally left the Kansas City Chiefs after being there for about a decade to now be the offensive coordinator of the Washington Commanders. Now, this is a really interesting decision because of the fact for the Commanders, I think this is an excellent move. You're bringing in Eric Bieniemy to be your offensive coordinator when he was just an offensive coordinator for a team that's won 2 Super Bowls while he was offensive coordinator. So this is a great decision for the Washington Commanders. Yes, the Commanders don't have as good of players as the Chiefs right now, but with his offensive scheme, I think he'll instantly be able to boost the Commanders' offense and make them a much better offensive team. So overall, for the Commanders, I think this is a fantastic move, and it's one of the best decisions that you possibly could have made for the offensive coordinator job. But for Eric Bieniemy, this is a really interesting decision because you can look at this one or two ways. You could say this is a bad move for Eric Bieniemy because he took a lateral move to a team that's much worse in the NFL than what the situation he currently had at the Kansas City Chiefs. But a lot of people think that the Washington Commanders are promising Eric Bieniemy a potential head coaching job after a couple of years, and this is definitely a possibility because Ron Rivera might not be with the Commanders for many more years, and if Eric Bieniemy's the offensive coordinator for the Commanders for 2 seasons, and then after that Ron Rivera retires, then the Washington Commanders could hire Eric Bieniemy to be the head coach, and that could definitely be the case here, and a lot of people are reporting this. So if the Kansas City Chiefs with Andy Reid were not going to guarantee Eric Bieniemy the head coaching job after Andy Reid retired, or if Andy Reid has a lot of years left of coaching and Eric Bieniemy did not want to wait as long, then I can definitely understand him going to the Washington Commanders to be the offensive coordinator and then getting the head coaching job in a couple of years. But still, even if Eric Bieniemy does get the head coaching job at the Washington Commanders, it's going to be a much more difficult job than the Kansas City Chiefs currently is because the Chiefs are in much better shape than the Commanders right now. And you don't want Eric Bieniemy to get hired as the head coach of the Commanders in a couple of seasons, and then he really struggles there as the head coach and he can't get anything going, and then he gets fired. So for Eric Bieniemy, I think this is a 50-50 move because you're leaving a great situation with the Kansas City Chiefs to go to the Washington Commanders, who are in much worse position right now. And I think that even if he does get the head coaching job, it could really work out in the future and he could have a lot of success there, but it could also not be a good gig because of the fact that the Commanders could be a team that's still struggling and he can't really get them off the ground, and then he could get fired. So I think that for Eric Bieniemy, it could really work out for him with this lateral move, becoming the offensive coordinator of the Commanders to potentially be the head coach, and then it all works out in the future. But it could also be a bad move, especially if he does get the head coaching job job with the Commanders, then he ends up getting fired. So like I said, I think it's a 50-50 move because he could have stayed with the Chiefs, waited for Andy Reid to retire, and then eventually take the head coaching job of the Chiefs, and then been able to have a team that was very successful already and be able to continue that success, kind of like a Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin situation with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I can also see Eric Bieniemy looking at it that he had a lot of patience with the Chiefs and he was really wanting the head coaching job. And I could really understand why he'd want to leave because the Chiefs, he's been there for a long time, and Andy Reid, he's still the head coach, and Eric Bieniemy probably wants to get a head coaching job really soon. And no one was offering him a head coaching job from any other team in the NFL in this cycle, which I think is insane. I think one of these teams should have hired Eric Bieniemy, but obviously a lot of teams, they want a head coach that has a lot of experience. But Eric Bieniemy did have a lot of experience, and he actually had a lot more experience than some of the coaches that were hired in this coaching carousel in the NFL. But at the end of the day, this is a great move for the Washington Commanders to get Eric Bieniemy. He's going to instantly improve the offense, and if he does a great job as offensive coordinator, and he can really turn around the Commanders' offense and make them one of the better offensive teams in the NFL. And then once Ron Rivera is not the head coach anymore, then Eric Bieniemy can take over as the head coach. And if he's already got things rolling with the Commanders, he can make them one of the best teams in the NFL. So it could be a really good decision for Eric Bieniemy. It's a fantastic decision for the Washington Commanders, but it is really going to be interesting in hindsight in the future if Eric Bieniemy should have stayed at the Kansas City Chiefs, waited for Andy Reid to retire to become the head coach or become a head coach of another NFL team. So we're really going to have to wait and see on that. But for the Washington Commanders, this was a fantastic decision to get Eric Bieniemy. Subscribe to the channel if you like sports content. Like this video down below. Comment down below whether you think the Washington Commanders made a good decision to get Eric Bieniemy to be the offensive coordinator, and whether you think Eric Bieniemy should have stayed at the Chiefs or he made a good decision to go to the Washington Commanders. And I will see you next time.